The room erupted in laughter before I even understood the joke. My friends had spent weeks convincing me to join a double date in a cozy restaurant overlooking the river in Portland, Oregon. They kept teasing me about being too serious, too kind, too willing to help strangers. When I finally agreed, they exchanged strange smiles that I didn't notice until that evening. Then the hostess led me to my table, and sitting there alone was a visibly pregnant woman with tired eyes, quietly folding and unfolding a paper napkin, while everyone around us tried to hide their laughter. They thought embarrassment would be the highlight of the night. They had no idea that one simple decision would change several lives forever. If you believe kindness is never wasted and everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts around the world. My name is Nathan, and I had spent most of my life working as a paramedic. Years of responding to emergencies had taught me something many people never learned. You never really know what battle another person is fighting. The woman sitting across from me looked uncomfortable, not because of me, but because she knew she had been made part of someone else's joke. Her name was Grace, and she looked as though she wished the floor would open beneath her chair. The laughter from the nearby table slowly faded when I pulled out the chair across from her, smiled warmly, and thanked her for waiting. I ignored every whisper behind me, because the person in front of me deserved better than becoming the punchline of someone else's entertainment. As the evening unfolded, I learned that Grace's husband had died in a construction accident only 5 months earlier. She was expecting their first child, had recently lost her apartment after medical bills piled up, and had accepted the invitation because one of my so-called friends had promised. It was simply a free dinner organized by a community support group. Instead, she had walked into a cruel prank without realizing it. Every sentence she spoke carried quiet strength, wrapped in heartbreak. She apologized repeatedly for ruining my evening, but the truth was the evening had only become meaningful because she was there. Around us, the laughter disappeared. My friends slowly stopped smiling as they realized I wasn't angry, embarrassed, or looking for an excuse to leave. Instead, I listened. I asked about the baby's future, about the dreams she and her husband had shared, and about the little knitted blanket folded carefully inside her handbag. She admitted she still talked to her late husband every night before going to sleep, because it helped her believe she wasn't completely alone. Hearing those words made my chest tighten. Life had already played enough cruel jokes on her. She didn't need another one, created by people who should have known better. When dinner ended, I quietly paid the bill for both of us before anyone could argue. Outside, heavy rain began falling across the streets of Portland. Grace struggled to carry several grocery bags while protecting herself from the weather. Without saying much, I carried everything to her aging car. It wasn't heroism. It was simply the decent thing to do. Before driving away, she thanked me with tears filling her eyes and said that for the first time in months, someone had looked at her instead of her circumstances. The following week surprised both of us. We stayed in touch, not as lovers, but as friends. I helped repair broken shelves in her small apartment after a local church arranged temporary housing. She baked homemade bread whenever I visited. We laughed about ordinary things. Slowly, hope returned to her face. When her son was finally born, she asked if I would be there because she had no remaining family nearby. Holding that tiny baby reminded me that life always finds a way to plant new beginnings inside broken endings. Months later, the same friends who had organized the prank invited me to another gathering. This time, there was no laughter waiting for me. They apologized with genuine regret after seeing how their joke had opened their eyes to someone else's pain. Several of them even volunteered to help single parents in our community because they realized compassion grows when people stop judging and start listening. Grace eventually rebuilt her life. She found steady work, her son grew healthy and joyful, and every birthday she invited me to celebrate as part of their family. People often assumed we would eventually marry, but our story became something different. We became proof that love isn't always romantic. Sometimes, love is choosing dignity over humiliation, compassion over applause, and humanity over pride. That single dinner taught everyone involved that the strongest people are often those carrying invisible burdens. While still finding reasons to smile, before we reach the end of this story, I have one special request. Please comment with the words, "Kindness always wins," if you believe one act of compassion can completely change someone's life. Years have passed since that unforgettable evening, but I still remember the silence that filled the restaurant after everyone realized the joke had failed. They expected mockery. Instead, they witnessed mercy. They expected rejection. Instead, they saw respect. And they expected an unforgettable prank. But what they created instead was an unforgettable reminder that every person deserves to be treated with dignity. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with your friend and family, and subscribe for more emotional stories that remind us why kindness will always be stronger than cruelty. Sometimes, the greatest miracle isn't finding the perfect date. It's becoming the person who refuses to let someone else face life alone.